colleagues, I done been through the court system. I'm going to stay innocent till proven guilty. I don't throw around allegations of bid rigging, and I don't listen to them lightly. I don't think nobody know that at this point. It's just people talking, people politicking. I want everybody in the city to know. While you listen to this council, be very careful, because all of them ain't Bible books. They ain't telling all the details, and it ain't accurate. Because it's so important for you and Kate Fields and Eva to coalesce and communicate the... Well, we're checking.
Point of order. I'm going to rule you all out of order. I'm giving you one
That's some of the same crowd of folks.
Councilman
Look, they
Mays,
done got up.
Councilman Mays,
Councilman
Mays, I need you.
Come up here, because what they done got up for?
Councilman Mays, I'm going to need
point
you to
of order.
What is your point of order?
I can help call any member of the public into order. And you done got folks getting up. I want Mr. Booth to make sure he don't let them police our meeting.
Councilman
so
Mays,
that's my point.
Last question. Human Resources stepped in for the anti-bullying thing, and is that because of what's going on in City Council, or what's going on?
Always, you have to factor in everything. It's not only just City Council, but it's in the city of Flint, and so it's a city policy. But you know, people claim I'm a bully, so I might have to behave better.
Is there a problem with City Council that can't be fixed?
Oh, it can be fixed. It will be fixed. We're moving the city forward, and the majority of council will rule.
Great. Thank you, sir. Let me grab that mic. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got my wrist.
You got a lot of work to do out there.
It's your privilege. I'm using my minute on some housekeeping. You ain't as good a chair as I am, but maybe you will get there tomorrow. I mean, I was a bad chair, but that means you got to really be bad to be worse than me. My position is this.
The next caller has been unmuted.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, this is Barbara Moore. And, you know, this is just sad that you all as a council, and I'm not referring to everybody, the ones that I'm talking to know who you are. It's just a direct dereliction of duty, of your oath of office. And believe me, you mark my word, the state of Michigan is paying close attention to what's going on. And what you're doing right now is setting the stage for the state of Michigan to step in and take over, because it's obvious that you all cannot handle the business of the city. And another thing, I'm going to call names. I'm not referring to Councilman Griggs. I'm not referring to President Kate Fields. I'm not referring to Eva Worthing. I'm not referring to Herb Winfrey. You know, but the names that I didn't call, those are the ones that I'm referring to, because it's a political game going on. And like I say, you really don't know who Barbara Moore is. I'm not sitting in the meetings for nothing. I'm paying close attention. And people are fixated on the $47.3 million that's coming into the city of Flint, that you think you can use any kind of way you want to. You want to tie it into this budget when you don't have the final rules from the federal government as to how the money can be spent. And yes, you degrade people, Councilwoman Galloway and Eric Mays. That's all you know to do, is degrade people. And Councilwoman Galloway want to put an emphasis, trying to talk so proper to people when she's scolding them like they're little kids. I mean, just abusing people. And Eric Mays, and when you have this condescending, well, Miss Freer, you know, you're going to talk in a different tone of voice when everybody knows who you really are. And Councilman Davis, I hate that I ever supported. And I'm going to wrap up. Now, I don't agree with much. I haven't agreed with much lately from Mr. Woodson, but one thing about him, he do bring documents to the table. You sit up and you'll say anything. You didn't even know when 9/11 took place, the attack on America.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. You've gotten 15 seconds over.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.
Davidson Township told me 17 times to my face I was fucking my dogs in the ass.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. That's inappropriate conversation, and he should not be at the podium using that type of
In
language.
Christ Jesus' name, I believe that's so. Love you guys in Christ Jesus' name. Love
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Thank you. No profanity at the podium, please. No profanity.
All my life I've been here, all you ever hear is the council don't get along. It ain't just now. Ever since I've been here, you keep hearing how the council don't get along. I mean, this has been going on for the last 50 years that I've been an adult. So what I would like to know is could there be some solutions? And if I'm not mistaken, we've been through enough where we had a city manager where the mayor's office didn't have any power and the city council didn't have any power either. And the fact that we have been blessed to get those powers back, it would be nice for us as residents to see people come together and let us see some work being done instead of people getting up, calling people names and that kind of thing. We all play a part because we all live in this city. Thank you.
I would like to compliment Councilpersons Burns and Pfeiffer for your press conference today, as it was highly informative and provided specificity and depth related to the garbage contract extension and its potentially deleterious impact on the city's budget. In addition to that, I appreciate you addressing the appropriate use of opioid dollars to serve a city in opioid crisis. Thank you both. Finally, I would like to state that I am deeply disappointed in Councilpersons Lewis and Worthy for comments made during their recent press conference, which was held under the guise of addressing ARPA and opioid dollars, but resulted in nothing more than a critique of their colleagues. Ms. Lewis, I do not intend professional insult here, however, as an analogy regarding your performances shared this council, where you might have performed as a pyrotechnician, the person in charge of a public fireworks display, you instead have performed as the arsonist, by lighting the torch, burning down the house, and then blaming it on the matches.
Go ahead.
Ms. Worthing, not only did you play the role of the mind-reading mentalist by suggesting that Mr. Mays is on council for fame and wealth, you also played classroom teacher while you spelled out certain words you deem unspeakable in an attempt to defame Mr. Pfeiffer by association. Ms. Worthing, as you often do at council, you also did at the press conference. To borrow from your performance, you behaved like an ASS. Thank you.
And I will say what I've said before. Eric Mays may be the identified problem, but we got all some mental hygiene to take a look into. And one of the things that I find here that's very uncomfortable is the bickering and divisiveness. And it's across the board.
Anyway, and you, Miss, breaking up the form, and you that dude, the Santa Claus looking beard, chewing peanuts up there, y'all up there breaking up the form for the Mays getting ready.
Mr. Mitchell, your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Our next speaker is Mr.
Been handed because we got a problem with the way you chair. Let me move forward. I requested this special meeting before Ms. Fields left again, highest absence, leaving again, Ms. Fields, everybody watching. After they done went around, I wanted to sit quiet because they just hypocritical. All of that discussion about something that didn't.
Good question.
No, when I finish, then if he don't say nothing, we'll vote on the appeal, and I'm gonna be voting no. I'm gonna be voting yes to uphold the ruling of the chair and no
Point of
against her.
information. Does Mr. Mays realize that we're in a discussion on her Thank you, sir.
Let me say this. She made a motion to withdraw the appeal.
Yes.
and it was seconded that she could withdraw it? No,
Well,
it wasn't
what I-
second.
what I asked-
You said, was there any objections? I said, yeah, that put us back in the appeal discussion, not on the withdrawal.
Point of
'cause it was no-
information. Does Mr. Mays realize that Mr. Garris seconded that withdrawal of the appeal, according to the
Well,
records?
Somebody
she did.
seconded the call for the
He seconded the call for her to withdraw the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to
And so-
wrap up so that we can move on. We're wasting time.
Why, when it get to me, we wasting time? But all these folks who put the appeal ain't wasting time. That's my point. Quit singling me out as a time waster. Single some of these folks once in y'all life as time wasters. It ain't funny to me, Griggs. It ain't funny to me, Gary. I sit here quietly. And the minute I start talking, here go that old stereotype, time-wasting stereotype. Who does that repeatedly? Who wants to live in a stereotype shell? Black's lazy. First ward councilman wasting time. He's irrelevant. Don't y'all get it? We went through this with Carrie and Jackie Poplar and them putting a hand up in my face. I'm not going to, every time I speak, be belittled when I'm making points by this council. Don't y'all get it? The time wasted was with her when she appealed it. And I'm telling you, I want to withdraw it. You done wasted time. Tell them. Quit picking at me about the great waster of time. I'm here to do business.
Thank you.
Point of information.
So now.
She said a point. That's why I stopped.
What's your point?
I said I wanted to withdraw so we could move on, Mr. Mays. That was my intention. So, and here we are.
Okay. So that's
Mr. President, was that a statement or a question that she interrupted me with? She said, here we are. She ain't asked no question. That wasn't a point of information. It was out of order. I'm telling you, I know how to shut up, but I'm telling you, Miss Galloway, she's making, I look at demeanor. People's demeanor and words is admissible in a court of law. I'm tired of the different treatment. I'm tired of the singling out. And every time you do it, I'm going to make a point. Now,
Mr. Mays, you asked a question when your time was already up. So,
Madam President, I know you ain't going to get that technical on me because I think I can win an appeal that I wrapped up and the questioning is on him. Don't play that technical game with me. I ain't up for it. I'm trying to do serious business and you still in your same old chair mode. Caution. Let's be nice. That's what happened last week. They got to arguing about who's going to be financed. And at the end of the meeting, it looked like Mr. Briggs. Can I ask you a question? Did you throw something at Miss Galloway when her and Neva Worthing was arguing? You picked up a cup, you walked around, and then it's a video.
Order.
This is new business.
No, this is not.
What's that point?
What is this?
It's new business.
This isn't a council meeting.
It is new business. It is a council meeting.
Order. I feel the ruling of the chair.
Okay, it's a bill of the ruling of the chair. Under new business. Is there a second? Hold up. Let's see if this is second. It ain't no second. It died for lack of second. Go ahead, Mr. Briggs, because they put something bad about you, and they could have doctored that. That might not even be in your hand. What's happening? Talk to us.
Yeah, it was doctor. I was going an empty pop can to Mr. Mitchell.
I had heard something about that. They had it like you was throwing it at Miss Galloway. They congratulated me. So this is new business.
And so next is Mr. Mays. You have 1 minute left on your second round. I'm timing everybody.
I'm done. Can't do it. Can't run city business in 30 seconds. I'm going to say this.
The meeting was interrupted by Councilman Eric Mays.
Mr. Mays, would you please remove yourself?
You got 6 council
Remove
people
yourself.
there. You have to post the meeting of an open meeting.
Fields then ended the meeting. She says all council members were notified by email of that meeting.
I just want to know how we can move forward. And bid rigging, just want to read here some definitions. Bid manipulation
Councilwoman.
I'm gonna say what I want to say.
No, you're not. Listen, let me tell you what's going to happen. We're on a motion. We're on a motion that's regarding a subpoena, and it should be germane to that. It should.
I'm sorry,
and
but
so when
she
you
just
say,
got to say
I
what she had to
understand.
say.
She different.
But I'm saying when you say you're going to say what you want to say, that's saying a bit much.
Excuse me, Mr.
Well,
President.
you don't have
I'd
to
like
get all
to
upset.
respond.
All I'm asking you to do is we're on a motion talking about a subpoena.
So it only applies to me and it doesn't
No, it
apply
applies
to
to
anyone
everybody.
else?
No.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I don't. I appeal the ruling of the chair.
I said it applies to everybody. You appeal
Okay.
that ruling?
You say one thing and you do another. I appeal the ruling of the chair. He's telling me that I cannot speak on what I would like to speak, and I'm appealing the ruling of the chair.
That's not what I said. That's what you said I said. I said,
Can I continue, Mr. President, speaking on
as
what...
long as you don't say, you'll say what you want to say, nobody around this table is going to say what they want to say.
I highly disagree with you right now. Mr. Mays got to say everything he wanted to say.
What Mr. Mays was saying, in my opinion...
It's always
and
your
I-
opinion. I appeal the ruling of...
What
I'm not going to
ruling
say
did I? What ruling are you appealing?
that you're not allowing me to continue to speak along the lines that I would like to.
Oh, okay. There's an appeal on the floor. Is there support for that appeal?
I support that.
Okay. Councilman, my colleague once has made a blanket statement that she'll say what she wants to say. No, she won't. Not as long as I change this. It ain't nobody else will. And I would like to apply that across. Now, if she's saying that she's going to talk about this appeal and things that she's going to be saying are germane to the appeal, then she can say what she wants to say. But to have a blanket statement that she'll say what she wants, oh no, she won't. And nobody else will either. Now, Councilwoman Worthy, go ahead.
I would love that passion, Mr. President, be directed toward the one that makes us sit here and listen to AECOM, who has no relevance. But every time we say we would like him to be on point, I disagree with you. Mr. Mays, can you go from this point to this point? Oh, it matters. It goes along with it. I totally agree with Mr. Mays. And yet, I would like to speak. Every time I'd like to speak, I get shut down. And I don't care who it is. Maybe some of you don't want to hear what I have to say. And I think that's what it is. I'm going to be quite honest. So when I said I'll say what I want to say, I meant please don't shut me down. What I have to say is relevant, and I'd like to say it.
Councilwoman Fields.
I'd like to say, Mr. President, that we've had discussions about this before. I believe you do give Mr. Mays preferential treatment. I do believe Mr. Mays is allowed to talk about anything he wants to say, even though it isn't remotely related to the topic at hand. And I think you appear to be unaware that you give Mr. Mays preferential treatment. I think that what Ms. Worthing is attempting to say was relevant, and she wasn't any more off the mark than Ms. Galloway was or Mr. Mays was in talking about this subpoena. Everybody else has gone all around the block with it, and yet you only stop her, and I believe that's discriminatory.
Okay. Any other?
That's it. Yeah.
Councilwoman.
And I think, Ms. Worthy, and I know you, I think he just wanted to make the point of you're not going to just say what you want to say, but he wasn't saying that you couldn't say what you want. It was the wording.
Okay.
And so I didn't gather that he just wanted to make a point where, no, you're not going to say what you want to say, but it wasn't saying that technically what you wanted to say. It was the perception behind when we say that. I'm going to say whatever I want to say. That's what I gathered. So I thought that he was going to let you finish what you were saying, just in the wording. So just so
We've got Councilwoman Winfrey Carter and Councilman Davis.
And I was just gonna, piggyback off of what Councilwoman Galloway said. Kind of like, we heard where you were going, but kind of tone that down. You can say what you want to say, but You know, kind of like what Councilwoman Galloway said. You know, you can't come out and say that someone was illegally bidding, you know, the process or whatever. I mean, you don't know that for sure. You don't know that for sure. So it wouldn't be right.
I'll just withdraw that if I'm allowed to continue.
Sure. Do you still want to?
I do.
I
just
it's
want
kind
to
of
say.
a waste of a time. I withdraw.
Okay, she's
That way we
withdrawing.
can just
Okay.
Proceed.
Point of order, Mr. President.
What's your point?
Ms. Fields and then Mr. Davis.
Okay, I'd like to raise an issue regarding these parks, you know, and the city definition.
Point of order.
Mr. Mays.
I should have sit in a seat.
My back's hurting, but I'll sit in my seat.
You
That
made
makes
the
you more
rules. You
comfortable.
made the rules.
Because I want you to be comfortable.
All right.
No, you made the rules. You had to pump me out with them.
That's because
Okay.
Anybody else? Hearing none, this is what I'll say. These meetings are recorded. I said, it's scary for me with all the absenteeism and no quorums as we move into this budget process. You can shake your head, Ms. Burns, but I didn't agree with what you said. You said I called colleagues scary, and I didn't shake my head and knew it was wrong. So I've looked at the demeanor.
Point of information.
What's your point?
You did state that this is one of the scariest councils you've ever seen.
Miss Burns, you out of order. That ain't no point of information. That's a statement. And you can appeal that. But a lot of folk come on here, and in 3-4 months, they think they the authority. Regardless of what I said, I know what I meant. And it ain't regardless of what I said this is scary. I didn't say no council person scared me like a spook or a ghost. With the Napoleon syndrome, you know the Napoleon syndrome is somebody short trying to be big.
Mr. Mays, you're not Jermaine.
Oh, I am Jermaine when I talk to the man.
So let's stop talking about the mayor's personal characteristics and let's stay Jermaine.
The mayor brought this resolution to this council at this time. And I'm talking to Maggie and the board at my park to let them know I'm in agreement with it. And the mayor brought something at this time, and I might not want to vote for it in November, but I vote for it in December, January, because the work might not be done to the summer months. So it's Jermaine. You just don't like me talking about your buddy the mayor. So I'm going to talk about it.
Mr. President, can I speak?
No, point of order,
Was he in
Mr.
the public
President.
game?
Hold on just a second. He was
I'm talking, he said nothing to you. You should have talked to me, Monica Galloway.
I didn't talk to you. I didn't talk to you.
Yeah, Mr. President, if nobody else had none, I'll do my second round. Through you, Mr. President, to Joe Parks from Goyette. Mr. Parks, can you bring us up to speed? Y'all was in a 4 o'clock emergency meeting.
Point of order.
What's your point?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I am asking that if we hear from Mr. Parks, we can hear from him in the special order, but not on whether we should call a subpoena. We are talking about subpoena in the administration and anybody involved. And so I'm just asking that Mr. Parks would not be a part of that right now.
Okay.
Point of order.
What's your point?
Anybody can call anybody up. It's in the rules. And we can make our point the way we want to make it. And we are in a special order, and it's a motion in that special order. So how you going to rule whether or not we can hear from the person at hand? Now you rule.
Well, I want to understand. Go ahead.
You're using Mr. Parks to make your point as to why we should be doing what we're doing.
That's my intention.
I don't see a problem with that, Councilwoman. Proceed.
Did nobody overrule you. Mr. Parks, sorry about that. Tell us and bring us up to speed on this kind
Point of order, Mr. President.
Councilwoman.
So, no, point of information.
What's your point?
Mr. President,
Yes,
respectfully. We heard Mr. Parks on the radio today.
I
We
didn't
read
hear
a
him on the
letter.
radio.
I
Well, we
didn't
read
hear
a
him
letter.
either.
And so I'm asking
So
that
don't
we would
speak
dispose
for
of
me.
this and hear from Mr. Parks as long as we want to. because he said, tell us
Point of
where.
order, Mr. President. That's not a quick
that's not a
inquiry.
point of information.
Let me finish.
And
Point of
so,
order.
Mr. President, all I'm saying is, how
She's
long is he?
using the point of information to get the flow in.
Point of information, how long does he expect for Mr. Parks to be able to make the point?
Mr. Parks will decide that. I
But
just
no,
called on him.
if he's too long.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
done called on him.
Okay.
Mr.
All right.
President,
So let's-
may I
let's-
proceed? That's what was
Yes, you
happening
may
before.
proceed.
Mr. Parks.
Yeah, have a seat there, son. You can have a seat. Miss Wilson getting up, you can have her seat.
Let me say,
Go ahead, go over there.
did y'all have, Mitch, did y'all have a 4 o'clock meeting with the administration?